Originally, I had a second job, and I had purchased the health insurance policy for the first time. It was a nice health insurance policy. It looked like a really good policy to me, and it was quite a large chunk out of my paycheck. This was for a second job. This is the first time that I had worked a second job for a number of months, and it was difficult for me to handle my personal business. Things started falling behind. I wasn't getting enough rest, and I knew all this could happen, but I wanted to see if I could do this, and I wanted to pay off debts. Well, what ended up happening is I started trying to use my new health insurance policy and go to the doctors per usual. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue to use the same program that I had. Before I started paying for health insurance, a long time ago, I was eligible for the Medicaid expansion that had been provided as a social benefit. Then, as I progressed at my first job, I became ineligible for Medicaid, and then I was eligible for charity through my local free clinic, which is called Sinclair Free Clinic if you're a local. Not everybody is eligible for that, and if you're in a certain pay grade, it might be difficult for you to stay on. So what ended up happening is I had to leave the free clinic and the charity there because I was working 2 jobs and making too much of an income. And so I went to go ahead and purchase health insurance, which was the entire plan of getting the second job, paying bills and purchasing legitimate health insurance and starting to move in that direction. However, little did I know that there was such a big difference between being a person with social benefits in the medical system or a person who is eligible for charity and a person who actually pays for health insurance. Little did I know that my first medical visit with this new nurse practitioner was going to incur in a bill that was $2,000. My insurance company at the time was Aetna, which is the exact same insurance company that Luigi Mangione went through. So when things didn't work out with the second job, I still had a $200 a month bill to pay. Per usual, like in typical situations like this, I have to go way out of my way to figure out what's going on because something is bizarre or suspicious. Upon terminating my health insurance, I still owed the $2,000. And so what some people don't know is that you can go and apply for a payment plan, or if you are certain you cannot afford the bill, then there's an option to plea for charity. So I followed up, and I was offered, if you can see in the screenshots, I was offered a reduced bill, thankfully, and I felt really good about that. But then little did I know, in the following month, I was still charged the $200 and still owed of the $2,000 bill. So you can, blame me and say that I'm not taking adult responsibility. But at this point, I do not have the second income, and I was eligible to go back to the free clinic, which means that I was eligible for full charity pretty much through the free clinic, which covers pretty much all costs because the people in their financial department and their aid department determined that I am eligible for their charity. So I had asked for charity from the hospital to cover my bill, and then here we are again with the next bill being charged $200, even though I had been offered a payment plan to cover my bill in the amount of $66 a month, and then I was still charged again the $200 a month. So what I had to do, because I realized that it was ineffectual for me to even contact them and try to arrange for a payment plan to handle this with adult responsibility and get on a payment plan that would be appropriate for me because I'm eligible for charity. I am still being owed the $200, so I had to go to my credit card company and cancel the card, which indicates to them that there is some sort of dispute or fraud that is going on. Now, I am not pointing fingers, but I just want to say that I've never had so many problems in my life dealing with these problems as I have now, and it seems to be getting worse. When I deal with customer service staff, I am often left in awe because it was completely ineffectual that I even tried to get help, because nothing gets done and false promises are made. You may judge someone for the decisions that they make, but I would like to remind people that they are not in that person's shoes. They don't know what that person feels, what kind of suffering that they've endured. They don't really know anything about that person, truthfully. Nobody really knows anything truthfully about anyone else unless they've really walked in their shoes, in my opinion. So your personal opinions and prejudice about somebody and their decisions and the things that they feel and the decisions that they make, it really is not very helpful. You know, what could actually be helpful is people who actually get involved and start making adult, responsible decisions that are compassionate and helpful to others. And they stop being so selfish and only thinking about what benefits them as a person. I'm under the impression that if we were to start thinking more like that, then maybe a lot of our world's problems would just either dissolve or fall into place. You know what? I didn't even kill anyone, and I still feel the immense judgment placed upon me and the immense pressure placed upon me to find some way to pay these bills that I am not even. My health issues are complicated. There's plenty of suffering and torturing in my life that I usually don't tell people just because it's not really their concern. This is one reason I don't open up about what's going on in my life, and I don't bring these issues to work, but yet they're still happening all around me. And I'm expected to handle it myself, even though I'm a person who is in a situation where I require a heavy amount of medical care and multiple diseases and do not have family. Okay, so it's not really considered to be my problem or my fault, but see, I constantly have to get personally involved in these issues that are plaguing me, and it's actually not even my problem. It's because the system is broken. The system is broken, and so I take a personal adult responsibility, and I choose to make a universally good decision that I think is going to benefit all people. And then I think about how, you know, even if I don't make it through this, even if I don't live on, I hope that what I did makes a difference in the world so other people don't have to deal with the same exact things that I do.